Hey guys, and welcome to the King's Court. My name is Kabir Alawali, and this is my brother Kerman Alawali. So we weren't here last week for you guys, but we're happy to be back this week. Let's get a quick rundown of our topic lineup for today. As the season gets underway, a couple of teams have been disappointments, a couple of teams have been surprises. Most notably, the Rockets have gotten off to a really hot start, while the Cleveland Cavaliers have gotten off to a really slow start. So me and Kerman will give you our picks of who we think is the biggest surprise, either an individual player or a team. And then we'll also give you our pick on who we think the best player is in the NBA right now, based on their performance so far in this season. So obviously Durant won't be there because he hasn't played all season. So we'll give you our pick on that. And as always, we'll hit you with the upcoming releases coming out. And this time, the LeBron 12s were announced. All the individual release dates for the colorways were announced after they were delayed. So we'll give you all those release dates for every single individual colorway that is coming out. And then kind of to cap off the show, as always, we got a new sneak of the week right here. And they're the Baby Bear SB Lows. And they're a really nice shoe. A lot of people don't like them because they think it's, over the top, kind of like a Lil Wayne-ish, kind of Jeremy Scott out there kind of shoe. But I like them a lot, and you guys can get a closer look, so maybe you guys can change your mind. So that's all coming up. Alright, so like I said, there's been a couple surprises and some disappointments so far as the season has progressed in its early stages. So Kermit, I'm going to ask you, what player or team has been the biggest surprise? And surprise can be a positive thing or a negative thing. So which team or player do you think that is?
So for me, Kabir, I believe that the biggest surprise has been the Cavs this season. And obviously not for any good reason whatsoever. Me being a Cavs fan, it's very hard to watch, so I understand the troubles that they're going through, and a bunch of people they expected it to happen this season just because of all the chemistry issues. They're bringing new pieces. Almost everyone on the roster is completely new, besides everyone on the court, with the exception of Dion Waiters and Kyrie Irving. Now, their complete deterioration and their exposure of their faults just started off right off the bat. In the first game in LeBron's homecoming versus the Knicks, you could just see that the Cavs were out of rhythm. I mean, at that point, people were saying the Cavs were playing poorly because they were nervous about LeBron's homecoming, all the hype surrounding it. But really, it was more than that, and we saw that later as the season progressed. In those games against especially Utah and Portland also, I'll give more credit to Portland because they're a good team, and a bunch of teams have problems against Portland. But you could see against Portland, the Cavs were being very careless. Everyone was saying LeBron was disengaged and was very passive with the ball. He wasn't looking to attack. And as for Utah, I was watching the game and same thing. But towards the end of the game, the Cavs made a run, but it just all ended with Gordon Hayward's buzzer beater. And when it comes down to it, it still counts as a loss. So I've heard a bunch of people talk about different things when it comes to the Cavs situation right now. Brian Windhorst, he wrote an article on ESPN about how, and a bunch of people have been supporting him, including Skip Bayless on First Take, about how this whole Cavs disconnection is all part of LeBron's master plan to let Kyrie Irving and Dion Waiters continue the bad habits that were placed upon them in Cleveland last season, only to truly see how bad it is for them, how it gets them losses, and how much criticism they get for it, so that they drop those bad habits. And once they drop those, it gives room for LeBron to implement his new habits. So I think, it's plausible, but a bunch of people are saying, hey, that's not a reason for LeBron to look disengaged, or not a reason to lose. So I think that's just a big question mark right now. Do I think they'll get over it? Definitely. In about 20 games, you'll see them just completely at full speed. They'll be playing very well. Recently against Denver, they got it together. They played extremely well. Kyrie Irving, he didn't shoot the ball nearly as much, and LeBron was controlling the ball pretty much the entire game. So I think that's a big plus. But right now, at this point, I think that the Cavs have been by far the biggest surprise this season.
For me, my biggest surprise has got to be actually, okay, I have two surprises. I'm gonna go with a player and a team. My team surprise is gonna be the Sacramento Kings, and my player surprise is gonna be Klay Thompson. Now let's start with the Kings. The Kings have had a lot of talent for the past 2 years, but they've just never been able to put it together. They've had DeMarcus Cousins, They had Rudy Gay last year. They've had guys like Jason Thompson and Carl Landry and Ben McLemore and Darren Williams and Reggie Evans and I mean the list goes on. They had Isaiah Thomas last year, but for some reason they were never able to like put all these pieces together and make a complete finished product that can be like a playoff contender. However, this year they have done that. They finally, I mean, to me, I just think that their success so far has just been a result of it's just been a matter of time. DeMarcus Cousins has been a stud every single year he's been in the NBA. Rudy Gay has never really found a home in the NBA, even though he's been an all-star. But I think with Sacramento, he's playing the best that he has in his career. He's already had a 40-point game this year, and he just fits that offense really well. And they drafted Nick Stauskas, who's playing extremely well. Obviously, he's a three-point sniper. They still have athletic guys like Derek Williams and Ben McLemore, who can also hit the three as well. And then they also have hard rebounders and tough players like Reggie Evans, Carl Landry, and Jason Thompson. And they have Darren Collison, who they brought in from the Clippers this year as their starting point guard. And a lot of NBA fans have seen Darren Collison attempt to be a starting point guard in the NBA, and he hasn't fit well. But so far with Sacramento, he's fit extremely well. He's fit, I mean, just his fast-paced style of play. He's a super quick player. It just goes extremely well with the type of players that they have on their roster, just young players. So the Sacramento Kings have been a really good surprise. I'm extremely happy to see that Sacramento is doing really well, especially since even though I mean, I'm a huge fan of Blake Griffin, and DeMarcus Cousins and Blake Griffin are known for getting in their little tussles or whatever. And even though, I've kind of thought DeMarcus has been like a dirty player, kind of irrational player, I think it's really good that he's having some success for the first time in his career as far as winning goes. Next, I got Klay Thompson. All right, Klay Thompson, he's already had 41 points against the Lakers, and no one really, I mean, the majority of people didn't foresee this coming. They saw him playing in Team USA, and a lot of people thought, this is going to help him, obviously, in the season. Then there was also trade speculation, about him involving Kevin Love, but then the Warriors obviously decided not to trade him as they thought that he had too much skill, and he is showing that. Like, the Warriors recently signed him to a huge contract, $70 million worth over 5 years or 4 years, I can't exactly remember, but he's proving that he's worth what he's signed for. Obviously, Klay's extremely adept in producing his own shot, hitting the three-point shot, and defending really well at a high level, which is really an underrated aspect of his game, is defending. He did have 41 points against the Lakers, which is outstanding. He's just playing really well this season, and I'd argue that he's been the stacked Golden State Warriors' best player over Stephen Curry. So those are the two. That's the team, and that's the player who I think have been the largest surprises. And they've been good surprises for me personally, and I hope that they can kind of keep up the success because it's just a good thing for the NBA. So Kermit, the next question I have for you is, so far this season, who's been the best in the NBA? Who's played the best?
Kabir, I think the best player so far in the NBA, and that's just based off of the performance this season, is Anthony Davis. Now, a lot of people have been hyping up Anthony Davis prior to the season just because of all the offensive skills that he showed, and defensive skills, obviously, that he showed in the Team USA in the FIBA World Cup over the summer. And along with that, people have seen his growth throughout his career, rookie season and sophomore season. They saw the huge change, and they just expected more out of him. And so far, Anthony Davis has been living up to the hype. So just a quick piece of info. His first game in the season, he had something ridiculous like 27 points, 19 rebounds, and 9 blocks. He almost had a triple-double in blocks in the first game of the season, along with 20 rebounds in the first game of the season. Imagine a 20-20-10 block game. That's just ridiculous. So it's just crazy how much his skill set has improved. And obviously, I said he's living up to the hype. The Pelicans' record is not that great as of now. It's 2-2, but they've been playing competitive teams, and even against those competitive teams, Anthony Davis has shown that he can dominate pretty much every team. The only bad game he's had this season is against the Twin Towers in Memphis, Zach Randolph and Marcus Gasol, in which he got 14-8, which is still not bad, but I mean, it's the worst that he's played this season. Now, just watching Anthony Davis just play so well, it's just amazing to watch, and it really comes to my benefit because I drafted him in my fantasy league. I'm not gonna lie, and he's a very good fantasy player. He's gonna be the best fantasy player in the league. And a bunch of people say, hey, like fantasy doesn't mean anything, but it actually does, because like if you're the best fantasy player in your league, then you're very good in the NBA. So, you know, long story short, Anthony Davis is just tremendous so far, and I think at this point, I think he's on pace to become the MVP of this league.
You know, man, as much as it like pains me to say this because I'm really not a fan of his game overall, I think the best player so far has been James Harden. The Houston Rockets have been playing extremely well, and the dudes who you can point at to that success is obviously their best two players, Dwight Howard and James Harden. James Harden's averaging 26 points a game as of now, 26 points a game, about 7 assists and about 7 rebounds, and this is the part that kind of gets me. About 1.5 steals and 1.5 blocks a game. James Harden's notoriously known for being a crappy, terrible defender. So to see, I mean, I was watching some Rockets games and I'm kind of seeing like some semblance of effort on the defensive end that James Harden is getting. Now, whether that's from all the criticism that he received this summer and he's trying to rectify that, whatever he's doing, it's affecting his game for the better, and it's making him a better player overall. And it's just kind of changing people's perceptions of him, because one of the reasons why I don't really like him is because of his lack of effort on defense. But he's averaging 26, 7, 7, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks a game. Like, that can't be understated. That can't be overlooked. So, I mean, James Harden's been an outstanding player so far in the NBA, and you can kind of equate that to the Rockets' success. And I think, if James Harden, just like how you said Anthony Davis could be in the MVP conversations, I think if James Harden keeps this up and the Rockets keep winning, I think James Harden could very well end up in that same conversation as well. Alright, so first, before we get on to like the sneak of the week and the release dates coming out, let's recap like some of the stuff that's released in the past weeks. We recently had the release of the Roger Federer Black Cement 3 Zoom Vapors. Now, if you look at those shoes, like, the hype was crazy over them. The hype still is crazy over them, and they're just because they look like Black Cement 3s, which is kind of crazy that people get hyped up for that so quick. But those released, as well as the Concepts collaboration with New Balance. I'm telling you, kind of like like the non-mainstream like retros or whatever that came out. But the Concepts New Balance Rose colorway, which came out, and those were really nice. But the reception wasn't as well because it was retailed at $235. And another things that highlighted these past couple weekends are the retro ones that came out in the black and white colorway, and actually the LeBron 12 Lions Heart, which is actually kind of going to introduce what our upcoming releases are. After being delayed, the LeBron 12s, all the individual colorways finally got their own new release dates. The Instinct LeBron, obviously we had the Lions Hearts already, and the Dunkmans actually. The Instinct LeBron 12s were released on the 22nd of November, and the 6 Meridian LeBron 12s, which is kind of like an orange, kind of like Big Bang colorway, were released on the 29th of November. And hold on, I can kind of look at this. The NSRLs will release on December 1st, and those are actually like the first LeBron 12s to be announced. So those were released on December 1st, and then you have the Data LeBron 12s on the 20th of December, and then finally you have the $1 Trillion Man, which I believe are one of the nicest on December 30th. And so those are the line of LeBron 12s they have. They're all retailing at $200. So those are, and I like them a lot better than the LeBron 11s, obviously, like most people do. So those are some stuff to look out for. Another thing to actually look out for would be Nike's recent announcement. They announced their new Dornbacher Freestyle collection, which is highlighted by the 8s. The 8s were designed, and they look really nice. Like, they're kind of out there and bright, like all the other Dornbacher shoes are, but they're really nice. Those, along with Dornbacher pennies and some other shoes that Nike kind of put in that collection, are all releasing on November 23rd. So if you like those, you guys can go get those as well. I think they're all nice shoes. So yeah. Alright, y'all, so this week's sneak of the week are the Baby Bear SB Dunk Lows. And before I get into like a closer review of them, Kermit, I'm just gonna ask you, you can pick up a shoe and kind of like give your kind of like first look, first impression, opinion of the shoe?
So my first impression is I like the shoe because I mean I'm a fan of the fuzz over here. I'm kind of iffy about the laces. I would prefer like blue or like white laces, but that's just me. I'm not really a huge fan of the green laces. But I also like the kind of connection to, you know, literature. I know it's like weird saying literature, but like how it has like a story behind the shoes that is another children's story, which is Three Little Bears, or most people know it as, you know, the Goldilocks story. And Nike made 3 shoes of this, the Papa Bears, the Mama Bears, and the Baby Bears. And personally, I like the Baby Bears the best. You know, a bunch of people say they don't like them, but because they're a little bit too out there. But you know, I think I like them. You know, that just it's Nike's way of making a shoe that's out of the box. No pun intended over there, but you know, I just like the shoe in general.
Okay, so that's actually a pretty good opinion over there. So I'll give you guys the detailed, you know, in-depth kind of look at the shoe. Obviously, like he said, I always like shoes that have like a legitimate concept towards them, and like you said, the Three Little Bears concept on this was extremely nice. You know, these are actually my little brother's shoes. They're extremely hard to find in a size 12, so these are size 8.5, which is my little brother's. And a lot of people, like he tells me, like a lot of people at his school, like whenever he wears them or whatever, are kind of like, those are ugly, like they don't like those. So a lot of people who don't really know about shoes and just see like the shoe when they first see it, don't like the shoe that much, which I guess I can understand because the fuzz could be kind of weird, but just the fact that it's a conceptual kind of shoe with the Three Little Bears story, I think it's really cool. So, you know, just to start off the shoe, obviously you have the whole fuzz going around the whole shoe, but the Nike swoosh, the swoosh sign is Volt, which matches the laces. The mid panel right here is that same fuzz from you know, like that you'd find on like a puppet or something. And then kind of around here, bordering the fuzz would be is a blue suede, which goes all around the shoe. On the toe box, you have the same fuzz, and then going up, the laces are Volt laces, which match the swoosh, and the tongue is actually like leather or something. Like I wouldn't exactly know how to characterize the tongue, but that's that. The Nike SB, I don't know if the Nike SB is blue, and then the wording is Volt. If you go onto this side, same thing, just like how it is for all dunks. You know, both sides, or the inside and the outside are the same. You got the fuzz, the Volt swoosh, and the blue suede. On the back, you have you just have standard Nike, and you have the same, the blue suede and the fuzz. If you go to the insole of the shoe, these are actually they're faded a little, but if you can kind of see, it has like a bear imprint on the insole, which, you know, highlights the fact that it's the baby bear out of the Three Little Bears collection. And the lining of the shoe is just chocolate brown. The midsole is white, and then kind of to top it all off, the sole, they're kind of dirty, but the sole is just straight up yellow. It kind of accents the fuzz on the shoe. So overall, that was just a quick review. Overall, it's a really nice shoe in my opinion. A lot of people would compare them to like those Jeremy Scott Adidas, which have the huge teddy bear on them, but you know, they're not that excessive obviously, but you know, the whole teddy bear thing is kind of the same. But I like them. I like these a lot, and you know, it's just a cool shoe with a cool concept. So, good shoe by Nike.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching today. Be sure to subscribe to our videos on YouTube and follow us on Twitter.
And guys, like always, please join us next time. Hopefully we won't be late for you guys like last week, but you know, just join us in next time. See you later.
No.